Well, Tennessee's not playing around anymore. They passed SB 8005. So you can Google Tennessee Bill 8005, SB 8005, and you're going to see just a few news articles just from the past hour or so. This is from the Daily Beast, so you can tell we're going to get the slant against this bill, which is kind of why I'm reading it, because it gives you the salt. We could go in and mine the salt, or they could just read it right up to the top for us, which is why we're going to read the Daily Beast. This says, chilling anti-protest bills, which are just riot consequence bills. So the anti-protest bills are popping up across America. That's one idea. It says, we are using a bazooka to go after a housefly here, said one critic of the controversial proposal in Tennessee that would deprive people of voting rights. Okay, there's an editorialization, and you can see the housefly in particular that they're referring to here in front of the rest of, I guess, I don't know what kind of insects you would call those people. They're human beings. We don't even be disparaging, but I mean, it's insulting to think that consequences for individuals who are breaking the law is wrong, and we should be mocking, saying, oh, well, it's a bazooka to go after a housefly. That's insulting, because I know houseflies that are more effective in being annoying than these people. It says, after 2 months of protests across the state capitol building in Nashville, across from the state capitol building in Nashville, Tennessee lawmakers voted for a tidy way to disperse their new neighbors. Make it illegal to camp there. Well, yeah, you're not allowed to camp 24 hours in public. It's called loitering. The law, which also targets protests on public property, makes convictions punishable by up to 6 years in prison and loss of voting rights. Well, if you become a felony, I think in most states you lose your voting rights. So, if you become a felon, if you are convicted of a felony, you lose your voting rights. I think in most states, certainly in Georgia. So it would make sense then if you found someone guilty of a felony because they're rioting, a felony mischief, malicious destruction of property, over $10,000, you'll lose your voting rights and you'll end up in prison. But this says it's to protesters, which obviously is not the case. It says the Tennessee bill passed by the state legislature last week was the latest legislation targeting dissent in a year marked by nationwide protests against racism and police brutality. It followed the Michigan bill, yikes, that would classify rioting as terrorism, and a slew of recent legislation began after George Floyd's killing at the hands of police. False, we already know that's now not true, imposing harsh punishments on anti-pipeline protesters. So, in Michigan, if you are protesting anything politically or economically, and you turn your protest into a riot, you will be punished. Tennessee's following suit. Why is this a problem? If you break the law, you should be punished. Let's get her off the screen. Yikes. Tennessee's SB 8005, or HB 8005, which passed the state legislature on Wednesday, would rewrite state criminal code to make it Class E felony to camp on state property between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. It's bad news for the People's Plaza, a movement of racial justice protesters who have led the nonstop demonstrations near the state capitol since June 12. Well, yeah, if you have every night protests and riots well past curfew, and we're in the middle of a pandemic, remember? So I thought we were supposed to have curfews. Go home. You're not supposed to be out of your house unless there's a need. Well, we're protesting every night. Give me a break. Says the group will gladly vacate the area, the state-owned plaza, as soon as Governor Bill Lee meets with them or the legislature and removes a bust of the KKK leader Nathan Bedford Forrest from the Capitol building. So far, neither's happened. Quote, there are aspects of the law that I might have done differently had there been or were there different from my original proposal, Lee said last week. Quote, lawlessness doesn't occur in the midst of a protest. That's what they're trying to ensure. So they want the bust of the KKK leader, Nathan Bedford Forrest, and I thought he was like a Confederate leader who also founded the KKK. I understand the want to get rid of him. I understand protesting for wanting to get rid of him. I do not understand or condone rioting, and I do fully support law enforcement saying we are going to, no matter the intent of why you broke the law. The fact that you were malicious, violent, and destructive is what's broken the law for you, and that's why you're going to see felony charges. I don't know why the Daily Beast would be writing up oh no, I do know why. Because it's an entirely leftist propaganda site, so everything you're reading out of this is going to be coming out of bias, which is why I'm covering it with my own. Let me know what you think of that in the comments. Make sure you like the video, share this with a friend, family, or a foe. Who cares at this point? Just share the video. And then make sure you're subscribed to the channel because we want to do everything that we can do together to keep America afloat.